Hello there, it's Paul here and welcome everyone. So this is the first pen review itself in the pen review series, and I'm looking at the fancy Slimline set number 3 from Pen Kits and Bits. Now, this kit costs £10.97 and in this kit you get 5 Slimline pens, and each of those 5 are a different finish. Just took all of these out of the main bag they're in and just opened up one of these kits. So you get your 2 brass tubes. These are pretty standard for a Slimline 7mm kit. Both tubes are the same length. You've got a standard Slimline pen refill, and this one I believe is the satin chrome. Usually with the Slimline pens you can tell how good a quality they are by this little ball on the back of the clip. Sometimes these are right open, so they can catch whatever they're rubbing against quite easily. I would say these are just as good as any Slimline pen I've bought before. I have actually just cut up some blanks and drilled them ready. So I've got a tulip wood, maple, walnut, Iroko and oak. So my next job will be to scuff up all of these tubes with some sandpaper. I'm just now turning this Slimline pen kits down. As you can see, I have basically glued the tubes in and sanded them back so that they're nice and flush. I did make a mistake with one of them. The walnut one, as you'll see, is a little bit shorter. For some reason the walnut just seemed to sand away so quick compared to the others that I've sanded part of the tube away. But I'm hoping I can get away with this one because there should be a gap at the top of the twist mechanism for where it still goes in here. One of the advantages possibly of a Slimline pen kit. Most mandrels will come with these standard 7mm Slimline bushings, so you shouldn't need to get them, and it's just a case of putting your blank on with a spacer, pushing in the middle, another one, and there. I've laid out everything here now that I've got, so there all the pen blanks I've turned, and you can see now the walnut one, which is slightly smaller than the others that I made a mistake on. So you get your bulk standard Slimline pen refill. These twist mechanisms are totally bulk standard. There's nothing special about these whatsoever. The main parts are these, and I've laid these all out so that we can now see all the colours properly, and I will put a picture on the screen which is a bit more of a close-up. So on the left here we've got the gold. Now the gold is fully covered over everything. The next one I'm guessing is going to be the black enamel. This really is, it's almost like somebody's just sprayed it with a matte black paint. You can see on parts of this where you've got exposed back to the metal inside, and it's more obvious on the back of the clip. The front has the full black enamel and all around it, but it's on the back and anything underneath where it has it's almost like a tin colour what it's been made out of. Now the third one I believe is the gunmetal. I might get this mixed up with the last one, but it looks very much like a gunmetal. Totally standard. Everything on there is fully covered inside and out. All looks exactly identical. The fourth one, which is actually quite a nice one, is the satin chrome, and this really is actually quite a nice effect on it, and I do like that one. And then finally I believe the last one is black titanium. As I say, I may well have this one muddled up with the gunmetal, so I'm not sure which one's which, but again it's fully covered inside and out. All looks identical. So the only oddball one is this black enamel one. And looking at the instructions on these instructions are really for somebody who's a total beginner, giving you all the details, going through the whole process. Goes through the actual assembly instructions. First of all, you have to press the nib in, and then the twist mechanism. Now on here it says that you shouldn't actually push the twist mechanism in further than the indentation, which is this sort of like indentation just above the brass section on there, and then slide your band over the twist mechanism, and then on the top press the cap, and if you want to use the clip, you don't have to use the clip, so the cap inside the clip, and then press that on top of the pen, and then you basically just push the top of the pen over the bottom half. You can use a pen press if you've got one. I know some people who use clamps to push these in, but for me, all I've done on the lathe is I just turned this little block around so it just loosely sits, and just hot glued a really good piece of hardwood on the top. In the chuck, just stick a hard piece of wood. As per the instructions, just put the nib in first. I like to put it in a little bit to start with, and in actual fact there's a good option thing now showing this black enamel will come off, especially if it gets scratched against something. So this is one you probably need to be a little bit careful of, and just gently run that in. So for the twist mechanism, to know how far you've got to put this in, it's best to have, in my mind, have the pen nib wound all the way down as if it's going to come out. That way you can then decide how far you want your nib to come out. So I can see on there, if I actually go down to that indentation, I'm going to actually probably have the nib out a little bit further than I would probably prefer. So to start with, I'm going to take it down to the brass section, and I can always push it in a little bit further if I want. So taking the nib out again, I'm just going to take that down to the brass section first of all. In actual fact, it could probably come out maybe a millimetre or more at the most. I just think it's a little bit too short. So still just about showing that part there. So that now looks nice. So the important thing is as well, retract it and make sure your nib has actually gone back inside. On with the pen sleeve. That just pushes all the way down there. Place that through the ring. You can now decide where you want to line up this. Sometimes you get a piece of wood where you've got a lot nicer grain, or a piece you want to hide. So you can decide precisely where you want to put that. Same thing again. Just push that in place. Now I know with some of these, especially if you've got a fairly bulbous shape on here, you just need to watch out when you put that, push that clip in. You might find that you want to put a bit of paper or something under there so it doesn't scratch the whole piece as you put it in. So try and line up the grain if you can, and they just push together. So that is, so to summarise, I've got to say I'm really actually impressed by the quality of these. Just as good as any Slimline pen kit I've come across in the past, if not possibly even better. Really cheap price. This multi-pack of all the different colours, so I got 5 there. I think it was £10.97, so it works out just under £2.20 per pen kit. Pen kits and bits do 3 different ranges of these multicolours, or you can buy packs of individual colours as well, which again the prices vary slightly on the singles. Where I did mess up my original pen blank with this walnut one, hopefully you can see the difference in size there. The bottoms are the same level, so it's about 4mm shorter, and I believe I've measured this up inside here. When the pen is retracted like that, the top in here under this end point, there's probably a gap of maybe about 2 or 3 millimeters. The good thing is with these Slimline pens, that they do allow room for a little bit of error. So on these particular pen kits, I've got to say I'm actually really impressed even on the back of the clip on here, because the ball that goes on the back here, for example when you slide it over in your shirt pocket or something like that, it's all actually quite nice and smooth. There are probably, you can, if you get your fingernail around there, you can feel where some of the joins and that are, but I think that it's been finished off quite well, that it shouldn't catch on something. On some of the cheap pens you sometimes find that that's all open. The main negative point I probably have on these, which probably won't apply to everybody, is just simply the sheer amount of plastic bags you get. Now I know Axminster Tools and some of the other suppliers are now supplying these all in paper bags. So you get a paper bag for your entire pen kit to go in, and all the individual components are just wrapped in sort of like thin paper tissue. So with the Pen Kits and Bits website, I've got to say it's a really nice change as well to find all these other alternative styles. Going for example, like with the black enamel and the satin chrome. Normally when you go to most of these websites you just get the things like the gold, silver and occasionally the gunmetal. Since I put the Slimline pens together, I've now received an order from penkits.co.uk on the Slimline pens I ordered there. This is their copper one, exactly the same as the other ones, so exactly the same clip, band, nib, everything's identical, just the finish on this. I'm guessing this is actually plated. It's not something that wears off like the black enamel one does. At the same time I also ordered what they call their flat Slimline. So the whole kit is identical, and the only difference really is the clip and the band. On this the band is just very flat, it's got no shape in it whatsoever, and again the clip itself is just a flat shape rather than all that rounded with the ball. The back of the clip on this is really well sealed. It's just one piece of metal that's gone down, bent round, so there are some sort of like little gaps on the edges. That to me feels a lot nicer clip on there compared to probably that one. This one feels a lot more solid. The difference between ordering from Pen Kits and Bits compared to these ones from penkits.co.uk, these I had to order in a minimum of 3 in a particular colour. So I've gone for 3 of these, I think it's satin chrome, and then 3 of these copper. Price wise they are a lot cheaper, £1.80 each, whereas the Pen Kits and Bits ones work out about £2.20. The difference is also have to pay carriage on these. At the same time as well, penkits.co.uk order direct from the supplier, so they will wait until they've got enough orders in, then they'll place their order with the suppliers. Takes at least a week to be delivered to them first of all. That could also be held up by customs, and then they finally ship them out to you. So you really need to expect to have a minimum of 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks, for a delivery time, because they don't keep stock. Same time as well, if you've got a problem with one of these, say you've got a faulty twist mechanism or something like that, it's just going to be email. Contacting them is pretty hard. Pen Kits and Bits, if you've got a problem with it, you can drop them an email or give Dave a phone call and he will sort it out straight away. He also keeps stock of all of his kits, so he will go off and check his stock to see if it's the same with all the stuff he's got, and if there's a part that needs replacing, he will sort that out for you. The order I had came through Every, and the packet was just basically in a plastic bag. There was no protection on it whatsoever. This is all part of a series of doing reviews on a lot of pen kits and websites, so please do check out all of my other videos and especially the playlist for the pen kit reviews. Thanks a lot for watching.